to Rio, but the 2016 Olympics are finally here. The opening ceremony is tomorrow, but already athletes are competing.
Yeah, and while many are excited for the games, there's been some controversy surrounding Zika and water pollution. News Channel 8's Paul Ryan is in Rio this morning. Good morning to you, Paul. What's going on?
Good morning, Gene and Gail. What's the first thing you do when you go to a foreign country? Well, the last thing you want to do is drink the water, but let's not go all doom and gloom. Let's talk about some positive stuff first, like our live shot location. You're going to be seeing this a lot for the next 18 days right here in the heart of the Olympic Park. Let me give you a quick impromptu tour. Off your screen to the right is the aquatic stadium. The water in there, pretty good. Don't drink it, but it's not as bad as the water that's outside. The future building, that wooden-looking building off in the distance, that's where team handball is going to be. And these three buildings, arenas 1, 2, and 3, I guess they're sticking with the generic naming scheme for those. Now back to the water. We do have to talk about this. A growing concern leading up to this 31st Olympiad. If you've been following it at all, you've seen the articles, you've seen the pictures, you know it's pretty bad. And now that the games are about to begin, we're put in a situation where the athletes that are about to be competing in that polluted water are plugging their nose and diving into a pool of consequences.
The Rio metropolis basically using the waters as a toilet.
Biologist Mario Moscatelli paints a grim picture of Rio's waterways, and in a matter of days, we'll find out if he's an expressionist or a realist. Hundreds of Olympic athletes will go for gold in polluted venues like Guanabara Bay and Lagoa Stadium, a concept Moscatelli and his colleagues literally cannot stomach.
If the tide is low, if it's raining, and if the winds come from the outside of the bay, not even Jesus can do anything about it.
It turns out the water here in Rio de Janeiro may be even more unsafe than previously thought. A recent AP report suggests that anyone who ingests more than 3 tablespoons of the stuff is going to contract the virus, and those who stick to the sand here at Copacabana Beach may not be safe either. A 16-month investigation reveals Rio's water is chock full of rotavirus. It also contains high levels of bacteria and fecal matter, which, if ingested, can cause a variety of diseases, including cholera and dysentery. However, the president of the International Olympic Committee insists his athletes will be safe.
In Guanabara Bay, you have 4 tests a day, which all show that the bay is according to the WHO standards. It's all coming together.
Gene, Gail, think about that for a second. 3 tablespoons of water, that's not a whole lot. And so experts here in Rio are making some pretty bizarre recommendations to the athletes that will be competing in that pollution. Things like don't let the water touch your skin. Don't open your mouth while you're swimming. Don't put your head underwater. These things aren't actually viable in practice. So somebody is bound to get sick. Hopefully it's not every athlete that competes in that water. It's something we'll have to keep a finger on the pulse of as these games develop.
I'll tell you, it's one thing hearing about it, but seeing it in that video, Paul,
Yeah,
wow.
those images were disgusting.
All right, Paul, a quick question for you.
It is. They cleared a lot of that debris out. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, we were following you on social media.
Yeah.
I want to lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah, we
since
want
it
to
is
talk
early
about
in
the
morning.
dogs.
The dogs, are they still keeping you up? I heard there's a lot of howling dogs there.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm working with Alicia Inns of KXAN out in Austin, Texas, and her and I were walking to the park yesterday, and there are wild dogs just roaming around in the Olympic Park. We've seen them around. They're howling at night, and a lot of the media bajas where we're staying are not finished, and so there's a lot of construction equipment, open, echoing areas, and the dogs are up howling and barking all night, literally from about 7 p.m. until sunrise. So take some Tylenol PMs if you're trying to get a solid night's sleep.
Yeah, seriously.
All right.
Howling dogs and dirty water. You got quite the assignment there. All right. Paul Ryan reporting live from Rio. Thanks, Paul. And an extra special